Hi, and welcome to the Sovereign Free Life podcast. I am so honored to have Dean and Renae Ferris at the podcast. Huge, huge welcome to you guys. And
Hello.
we met through our international community, and my husband also drives motocross. And when he saw, oh my God, it's Dean Ferris, like he was so like excited, and I know you have like an amazing sports career, Dean, in riding motocross, and Renee, you've done huge success within the water community, and also would love to hear like how that merged, how the water actually came into the motocross and what happened there. But yeah, you have so much to say, and I'm so excited to have you here. And I think I'll just leave it to you guys to share a bit about your story, like your background, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think for us, we actually have quite d diverse and quite different backgrounds, as to how we kind of come across it. But I think I might start and then Dean can lead in with his experience from the motocross side. But for me, I followed a very traditional path. Funny story, we actually met when we were like 14 years old. When we were
Oh.
kids, we used to race motocross together. And then when we kind of got older, when we finished school, we both went two very different directions. So Dean went and chased his career to be a professional motocross racer, and I did the path that the society tells you to do. So I got a job, bought a house, got a dog, did all the thing, right? And I, worked really long hours, did uni on the weekends and my evenings, and pretty much just thought I was like adulting. I thought I was like, I'm doing all the stuff that they say you should do. Um, and a few years down the track, I found myself very trapped in, what Balaj calls like the golden handcuffs. I heard him say today, and it was like where you work so hard for this career and this dream thing, only to find that you've got no freedom. Like I had no life outside of my career. I was very much just work, work, study, and I was just like married to my job, which I actually really liked my job. I had a career in banking, and I was like aiming high in the banking world, corporate world. Um, and then we, fast forward, we ended up getting back together back in 2015, and our worlds collided once again. And all of a sudden, I realized that my career was so like just focused, go, 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 whereas Dean was just doing what he loved. And when our worlds collided again, my eyes were open to this whole new way of living. Like, I actually just thought you get up, you go to work, you come home and you sleep and you wait for the weekends. Where Dean's lifestyle, he was doing what he loved every day and he was following his passions. And he was just like, well, I would sleep in till like 7 o'clock to try and get to work at 7:30 because I was so like, just, oh, yeah, whatever, another day. He was just like out of bed and he was excited about his life and he had so much purpose. And I was just like, whoa, you mean you could live like that? And I honestly just thought that kind of life was like for athletes and celebrities, right? And I thought, oh, oh, he's just, he's an athlete. That's cool for him. But it couldn't be available for somebody like me. And then fast forward a couple of years, we decided to start a family. And when we had our kids, all of a sudden, this epiphany hit me that I was like, I can't return to my old life. Like it wasn't set up for families. It was set up for a certain direction. And for me, it was this big like hole I felt like in my heart, in my life, because I was like, well, I don't have my career anymore. And I wanted that purpose and that inspiration that Dean had. But I was now a mom and I wanted to make income because, as an athlete, that career can't last forever. Um, and we just found ourselves in this situation where I was like, okay, I really want to create an income to support the family as well and to contribute, but I can't go back to my old life. I can't go back to my old way of making money. And Dean had kind of opened my eyes to this different lifestyle. And so I started, on Google, look on Instagram and social media, and I come across this girl and I realized that, whoa, there are like normal, everyday people like me that are creating these freedom lifestyles. and I don't have to be an athlete or a celebrity to like make this happen. And I remember just coming to Dean so excited, and I was like, oh my God, like maybe I could like be successful, you know? And that's kind of how it started, was me just like looking on these online options. So I was like, oh, maybe I want to start making money online. And he was like, oh, do you? Okay, cool. Um, and I think in the beginning I went down different paths because I didn't actually come across the water straight away. I found like another like just online entrepreneur group that I joined, and then I was like trying to create my own products, and I was just on this like hamster wheel trying to work out how to make money, right? Trying to, and I kind of ended up like on a bit of a personal growth journey. And then Dean ended up having a really bad accident. So I was
Mm,
kind of just dabbling a little bit. And then Dean had an accident, COVID had hit, our lives were a bit uncertain. He was trying to support the family because I was kind of sucking in business, trying to work out what I was doing. I wasn't contributing much. I was just kind of spending the money trying to learn. Um, and it was just a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And unfortunately, he had an accident and he broke his back. And I sat there in that hospital room being like, whoa, it's not like just at the start, it was like this luxury idea, right? Now all of a sudden, it was a necessity. I
yeah.
needed to find a way to make money because I didn't know what the future looked like for Dean. We had two little baby girls at home, and I was like, whoa, okay, I need to step up here. And he looked at me in the hospital and he went, all right, babe, it's on you. Um, Good luck.
Then you get the
Um,
urgency, right? And it's not just a
yeah,
hobby. You have to kind of
yeah,
step into business.
that
Month.
That's right. I was like, I've got to find something. And that's when I really dived in and I hired an au pair and I was like, okay, a nanny, get a nanny, take care of the kids. Like, I'm gonna succeed in business. And by this point, I was like in my office every day going, I've got to find a way. I've got to find a way. And I was like slamming my head against a brick wall until I came across a girl from Instagram who finally introduced me to the water. And she just showed me this other way of doing business.
Mm,
And all of a sudden I realized like, okay, I was on the right like kind of path, but I just need a better vehicle.
mm.
And I have to say it was smooth sailing from there, but I told Dean about it and he was like, no.
Not another thing.
Another thing.
It was that's what I thought. But anyway,
Mm,
I s- I agreed. I'm like, okay, you can do it, no problem. Just make it work. That was my only condition. But 3 weeks into having the products, I just said to Renee, I don't care if you don't make any money from this business. Like this product is amazing. I feel this and I feel that, and I feel amazing as an athlete because by this point I'd made a recovery. I was back into racing, and
Yeah, because there was like a 12-month gap from when I found the opportunity, told Dean about it,
yes,
and then he was like, no, you've spent enough money doing other stuff, you've got to make this work.
yeah.
And I came back to it.
So long or the short, I did say okay. She ended up the products. I was like, the product is amazing. And she went and made it work as well. But like as an athlete, I actually felt quite stupid because we're always looking at our diet and we're looking at our training and we're looking at our bike and we're looking at our travel and how to make all these one percenters make up a big difference.
mm.
And knowing how hot it is here in the summer in Australia, I was sweating drinking 6 to 7 liters a day in the
Wow.
summer.
Mm,
And knowing the science behind it now, because when you feel such a difference with the product, you're like, hey, I needed to look into this. And
mm.
now I know the science behind it. And I'm like, wow, I actually feel stupid that I didn't look into my water way earlier in my career
Yeah,
or
yeah.
even in life
Mm,
because it's like essential. Your
Yeah.
body's made up of water. So anyway,
So yeah,
that was the start of our journey. It started with a no to a yes to a I love the product.
don't worry.
Don't worry about it. And then she worked out how to make the business work as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just quite a journey, I think, in the start when you're so conditioned a certain way. Like it wasn't that easy start for me to business. There was a lot of like unlearning I had to do about what I thought about life and really just a lot of fears, a lot of insecurities I had to work through, a lot of personal growth to really just go and actually learn to believe in myself and go, you know what, I can do this um and we have the tools and all I had to do was follow the system. And once I really got mentorship, and that's what I love so much about our community, is it wasn't just like, okay, here's a business, here's an opportunity and off you go. It was like, here's a step-by-step roadmap by
Mm.
people that have done it before you.
Yeah.
And once I got put in containers with people that actually had real results, I was like, wow, it just grew
Mm.
my belief that, I really could create income, and freedom for our family.
Amazing. That's so amazing to see. And the transition then, like from you actually being able to contribute to the family and like getting that income as well. It's life changing. It's like I understand your reaction as well, Dean. It's like you don't really understand it until you see that this is completely different. I mean, my husband was also he didn't work for 3 years because he didn't have to, you know? Like we were getting quite huge success quite fast with the business and but then he actually wanted to start working again. Like he was like, I can't just work out and do saunas and be with the kids like all day long.
I think it's a male thing. We got to be moving, doing stuff, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's what he did with
um,
his time. Like I appreciated it, I can say. Like, So
Yeah.
that was what he did, like, and also kind of recovering from what you said. We were also in this kind of hamster wheel mentality, and it was almost like he had to recover. He'd been like working, working, working his whole life, and then finding what you really want to do, like finding
Yeah.
Hey, it's a process, right? Like you're saying as well, in this business, it's almost like you have to like take a few step backs, a few steps back and like, what do I really want? Like
Yeah.
what really matters to me? And
Yeah. And I
what
think
am I doing with my
we're
life?
not conditioned for that, right? We're not taught to think about what is it that you would love to build. And honestly, I felt like even in the beginning, I was like, this business is too easy. Like, how can it be that simple? Like I literally overcomplicated it because I was like, it can't be so simple. But once I started really surrendering to the process and really building my brand, building my online presence, and really sharing my truth about because for me, I really want people to know that these kind of life is available. And when you step out of the system, I think it's like one of those things that you sometimes can't see the forest for the trees,
Mm,
right? Get so caught up in everyday life. Like I just thought you have to send your kids to school, you've got to go to work, you've got to do this. Now, I homeschool our girls full time. We don't have a schedule. We wake up when we want to wake up. We go to bed when we want to go to bed. We travel whenever we want to travel. And we just live life on our terms.
mm,
And it was a big transition, a big mindset shift to be like, that's okay.
mm.
It might look different, but that's okay.
Definitely.
And
But
we are worthy and allowed to have this life.
exactly. But I would love to go back to Dean and just rewind a bit, like to hear a bit more about your background and story, because in a way like you said, you lived that passion. Like you did do what you loved, right? All the time. Like you have that in you, but would love to hear a bit more about like your background and how you came into motocross and your experiences there, just for so people know a bit more about you.
yeah, okay. So yeah, I was just a regular kid, but I grew up on a property with a farm, and I had motorbikes and just loved it. Just loved riding bikes around the farm. Passion. Went to a race, fell in love with racing. Was very fortunate that my parents would take me to the races. And I just remember when I was really young, my parents always said, like, you can do anything you want in life if you put your mind to it.
Mm,
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And
mm,
that was like, thinking back now, the biggest permission slip that I got from
mm.
my parents was do whatever you want to do. So I was like, I want to be a pro motocross rider. So that was my goal always from when I was 10 years old, that I want to be a pro. And I made it a reality. I think I dreamt about it so much that it had to happen. So yeah, I just followed the journey. It was a tough one. I think anyone in sports and athlete or being an athlete, especially in motocross, is really difficult. You have a lot of injuries, just a lot of challenges in life. So, but this made me grow really fast, and I was surrounded by some pretty good people. I traveled the world racing motocross. I lived in Europe for 4 years, racing world championship.
Mm,
And yeah, I had a great time. I come back to Australia in 2015 and did the last, well, let's say 9 to 10 years of my career here.
mm,
But yeah, I was always doing what I wanted, but then also around the people that were doing what they wanted, whether they were doing motocross or they were in business.
mm,
I was, you know, I wasn't put in a box
mm,
ever, you know what I mean? And I wasn't surrounded by people in the system, let's say. So
mm.
I was always just open-minded, really. And I think that's what Renee was referring to when we got together. She's like, your world's so different. We seen the world differently. And it was just through the exposure that I had
Yeah.
through, working with big businesses and traveling all the time and never on a schedule. You know what I mean? Never being dictated what to do, never really having a boss. It was all on myself to get results and to be disciplined and all of these things.
Mm.
So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's my journey. It was just a big whirlwind, but it was awesome. And yeah, we're pretty much I'm at the end of my career. And yeah, Renee now has this business running as something for the family as well.
Yeah, amazing. And I think we spoke about it another time that I mean it's so much about mindset also, right? In racing in sports and it's also the same in business, you could say. And
Yeah.
that you said that your parents gave you this, like how big part has that been in your journey and what are the golden nuggets? Like what how you like shifted your mindset and come over things. I mean, with injuries and problems and like you gone through a lot like of hardships, even though you were doing what you loved.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So like Renee, she went and did the regular thing, get a job, like she explained.
Mm,
But spending enough time around me and me giving her permission to change the way that she thinks, and support her to grow. But also Renee's been really interested in
Mindset.
in mindset
mm,
and looking at other people now since we've been together and being like, why are they successful? Like how
Yeah.
do they have that? And really just broadening her horizons to work out why. You know what I mean? And not just, you know, blaming or just this is the way, this is the only way, or whatever it is. Really just opening her mind. And that's a credit to Renee because she was in the system doing the regular thing,
Broke out.
broke out, is
mm.
now, you know, and then found this business which aligned with us, and she's making strides in the
Yeah.
business, and it's pretty much all through mindset, I would say.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of the mindset come from being Dean's right-hand girl. So I actually left my career originally back in the start of 2016. I left my banking career to be Dean's right-hand girl, and I was at the track with him every day, and I was a big part of his racing program. And I got really exposed really quickly. Like in the beginning, I didn't know anything. I was so green to all of it, and all of a sudden, I just started watching him, and we started realizing and piecing together that crashes even were a mindset. And his performance on race day was there was so much in the mind. And so I got really obsessed with it. I started studying mindset, I started studying psychology, I started just learning everything I could about why because everyone lined up has the same goal. Everyone who joins a business has the same goal, but why is it that some people make it and some people don't?
Mm,
And it was the same in sport. And so I got really obsessed with it. And together, like I'm a bit of a geeky nerd, so I was like reading all like the research and like the academic side of it because that was all I knew. I was very academic. Where Dean was very logical and practical and doing the thing. So he was doing the thing, I was reading about it, and then we were combining our two minds, and then all of a sudden we were like, "Whoa, that makes sense." And so that's where Dean's been so helpful for me because I've had that like tangible like experience to watch and see it in him that then as I've been applying it to business, I've been like, okay, what would this look like in our sport?
mm,
And just putting it across a lot. And I learned so much. I think some of the biggest things that I seen in Dean was like, in terms of the mindset that you were saying, is I learned that there was never excuses. So, like, even on a bad day, even when things weren't going to plan, Dean would look at what had gone on and he would just take full responsibility for his results.
yeah.
And he's like, okay, this or this didn't work. Great, let's go and implement that this week. And the other thing was like speed of execution. Dean wasn't sitting around analyzing, and that's why like I'm so vocal now about like being outside of the system and like learning different ways because it's like you get so caught up in and like for me being like going through the school system and uni system and all of that I was so academic. It was like you've got to work out this to get to a result, whereas Dean was just like this is the fastest way, just do that. Right, if we get, like our minds were so different. And so all of a sudden Dean was just like A B, boom. My brain was A plus da, 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 B.
Do not
Right,
overcomplicate things. It's like,
exactly.
okay,
And so
learn something, like do it,
yeah,
implement it.
just do it. Like just do the thing. And it was like fail forward. Like don't just like don't be or don't even be afraid of failing. Like when we look at even for him to like get through a corner really good, right? You can't just sit or watch somebody do a corner good and then just be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit and like think about it and read a book about it and then all of a sudden I'm gonna be good. You just go and hit the corner and go and practice that corner 50 or 100 times until you got good at it.
Yeah, you just practice and practice. Mm.
Practice, practice, practice. And I just watched him over and over and over do the same thing, keep practice during the week, and then he'd go and execute. And it's like, okay, well, really, it's the same in business. It's just so many of us are afraid to suck.
Yeah.
So many of us are afraid to do the beginning where we're not that good or we might not. But it's like you've actually just got to do the thing. And that's what Dean's biggest influence on me, I think, has just been like, just take more action. Where before I was so in my head all the time, so analytical, so like trying to dot all my T's, work out everything, understand everything. And it's like, actually, it can be simple. And
Mm.
if you just take action on the right things, you can get there a lot faster. And I
But
think
like
those little
yeah, it's this fear of failing and fear of like changing something and not succeeding. And like, what do you say to those people? Because I know also, I mean, there are decisions to make in life, and some people stand on like one leg, they don't take the steps,
yeah,
forward. Like, what
yeah,
do you say to those people when you're right in front of like making a huge change and you have no guarantees, right? Like, it's
yeah,
on you.
yeah, definitely. And I think that's the interesting thing. It's so interesting you mentioned fear of failure because that's the one thing that I'd never seen in Dean. So
Wow.
with his career, he was so focused on mastery that he wasn't worried about losing. He didn't like losing. He was so driven to win, but he knew that if he focused on the process and not the outcome, that the result was actually inevitable.
Mm,
The result would get there as a is a byproduct of the process. And so he taught me to fall in love with the process.
yeah.
And when you can fall in love with what you're doing and how you're doing it, there is no failure. Like you actually the only way to ever fail is to quit.
Mm,
And so, I didn't see fear of failure in Dean because even when he didn't get it right, he's like, cool, I just learned something. So I'm going to go and hit that corner again and work on the next thing. Right. And so it's like when you apply that in business, it's like you try something and not everything I try works. And the old version of me would have been like, oh, and what's people thinking? Whereas like Dean's really given me that courage and that permission slip to be like, it doesn't matter what. Because if as long as you love your decisions, you don't need other people to. And
mm,
it's like you just got to see everything as an opportunity to grow. Like you take a chance, you have a go at it, and if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, you've learnt something to tweak, refine, go
mm.
again.
Yeah.
And you keep going for long enough, it's like success is inevitable, right?
Right, and then everything is a win. Like even though you fail
Everything.
one time, you learn, and that's also a win, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and would love. I know, Dean, are you racing still, or are you like ending the career right now? I'm just thinking
Yeah,
that.
I haven't raced now for 1.5 years, so let's say it's over.
And how did you come to that decision? I mean, speaking about decisions and changes, and like, how were your thoughts like making that decision?
To finish,
Yeah, how many times did you retire, Dean?
yeah, it was not easy. Definitely. So after my back injury, I did retire because I didn't think I'd be strong enough to ride again,
Mm,
and I was pretty traumatized from that.
okay.
Uh,
Mm. What
but then
happened?
I did.
Like,
I did. I did recover. It took 12 months, a whole year.
Wow.
And yeah, long of the short, it's not easy as an athlete to retire, especially when you're still like at the top and really good at it. But ultimately, I wanted to spend more time with my kids and my wife.
Mm,
So
mm,
it was, I felt like I'd achieved pretty much everything I wanted to. I
mm,
didn't have another goal to go for, and I felt like it was just right to stop when you're not chasing anything anymore because it can be a dangerous sport at
mm,
times. So yeah, I stepped away and yeah, it's been a transition for sure,
mm,
but you know, um, it's been good.
Yeah. I think the really cool thing was because I had set this business up in place, we were in a position that we knew we had a way to make money
mm,
that didn't on Dean anymore. And so my business was able to make enough to replace his income. And so it gave us that opportunity that Dean could retire on his terms and he could just be dad for a while. Although he's come to the same conclusion as your husband and was like, oh, I can't just sit around and, like as much as he's loved just sipping coffees and hanging out with the kids, he's also felt this like itch to do something tangible. And
mm,
so now he's dabbling in setting up a new, like more service-based traditional business that he enjoys. Um, and yeah, just finding what he really, it's been a journey of Dean just trying to work out what he wants to do next.
mm,
So 18 months of being dad and doing sports days and taking the kids to sports every day and homeschooling with me, which has been amazing. It's actually
mm,
been so nice I think having like because we homeschool our kids, like being able to have both the wisdom from like both Dean and I has been really nice and really powerful for the kids.
mm.
Um, and yeah, I think you're only looking to do something like a couple of days a week
Yeah.
to
I mean, lucky
just to
to have both.
work it out.
I think like for me and my husband also that like the younger years that they have both of us like there all the time. Like how
Yeah.
can you put a price on that? Like how can you that's so much value. I think things change so much when you have kids and like you say, you kind of get a completely different perspective of what is important in life,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, we've been so fortunate to have our girls and babies with us the whole time.
Yeah.
And before we even plan to have a family, like we're like that's the number one rule. We'll be
Yeah.
with him the whole time.
yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking about like because a lot of people in sports, like Christopher has a sister who's been in the national team, in what do you call it, handball? Is that what you call it in English?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And like lots of people in sports, they know that their career is not going to last forever. Like you can't be a grandpa like
Yep.
doing
Yeah, still
right.
doing it.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say to those people? Like, also regarding this business and what we're doing, I think, I mean, I see it as a beautiful transition. I mean, now you, Renee, like, took the rudder, like, did this, but I'm just seeing this as an amazing opportunity for so many out there to kind of make that bridge for themselves.
I think it's with the business model and the way it's set up, you could have any career and start this and get it going and get it rolling and replace whatever income you have, or even have way bigger goals of what you want to do in life. You could look at this and be like, wow, I can do so much more with this than my current career. Like this business has way more potential than I had earnings in motocross. Absolutely. Way more. So if you're in that, not sure category, I'd say just dive in and go for it. One, you're going to get an awesome product for your health. Like,
Every athlete needs it in terms of just their
but
body.
I think every person, there's no way I would ever drink anything else now. Like, that's it. If Renee disappeared, I would have to get my own machine. Like it'd be non-negotiable. The one product I'd need in my home. And then, you've got pockets of your time in your day where you could build this business to replace whatever you're doing and keep going with it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether you're an athlete, doesn't matter what career you're in. I think it's so good. There's such a good foundation and systems and business model that
Mm.
anyone could. do it.
I think it's so good as well in the fact that it allows you, especially the way that we teach it, is with personal branding and being able to like, step into a pathway where it really asks you the question, what do you love? What do you
Mm,
want? What actually matters to you?
mm,
Because there's not a lot of careers that actually ask you what matters to you.
exactly. Mm,
You- And I feel like this business has really helped me connect with that.
mm,
And like that's why like for me, I only actually work few hours in the morning and then my whole day is then it goes handed off to my systems that my automation that sits in place so that my business is still running, but I maintain it every morning. But it's like once it's set up, it's set up. You've got that bit of maintenance. And then during the day, it's like I feel like my business grows the more that I'm integrity with what I stand for, the
mm,
more that I'm living a life of, you know, true presence with my kids where I'm doing the things that we love. And then you naturally attract more people that want those things.
mm,
And you get to really share this from a place of we're not setting you up with something that is like, oh, okay, cool, and you just got to hustle all day. It's like we're not asking that. We're asking you to be in your life. We're asking you to go and find what lights you up, and that's what I love. Is
mm.
that I feel like every day now I wake up before Dean. I'm so excited about just living my life. I'm so excited to get to do my work and then to spend my day with my family. And I just feel so grateful every single day that we found this.
No, that's so amazing. It's just like you say, it's like my husband's brother. He was the first one that got started with us, and they have a little baby girl that's now 1 years old, and she has been with her mother and father like this whole year.
Yeah.
Just imagine that little girl, like the security, the love, like all of this, and like can see your kids running in and out. Like I, I mean, mine go to school because they have to here in Sweden, but I pick them up as soon as I can. We have fun on the farm. My son, he drives a motocross here on the farm as well, like a 10-year-old. Just like you, like we have a little track there for him. He can just ride whenever he wants, and I mean,
Oh,
we
such
live.
a good update.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was actually riding motocross when he was 3 years old, like on his own. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
First, he
So good.
started out on this little bike, he was making tricks on this little bike. And then we bought this really small one, and he just, like, he was a natural or somehow. Like, I don't know. He just,
He's a true little Viking.
yeah. But it's like live like how can we like what are we supposed to do here? Like we're supposed to live life, right?
Yeah.
And do what's important for us and then this water like coming into the picture where we get to spread one of the most important things in the world for our health. Like it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing. And but just before we move on, I know you said like everyone should have the water, Dean, and everyone, like especially the athletes. I would love to hear like a little bit more about the sh changes, the shifts you had with the water, and maybe both of you, like what you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one, it sounds cliche, but is staying hydrated. So as an athlete, it's hot here. There was every summer when I was getting ready for the season, because we had the opposite here, with the seasons. I would every third or fourth day have to take one day completely off because I just could not stay hydrated enough.
Mm,
So that was always the case. When I started with the water, I was going day in, day out, day in, day out, still hydrated. I couldn't believe it.
mm.
I was like, okay. And then on top of that was it reduces inflammation in your body. So again, I'd wake up the next day feeling fresh.
Mm,
And I was already at this point, maybe 31, like in motocross, that's old.
mm,
And recovering day in and day out, day in and day out. And those two things just compounded. Like I didn't know why. I was like, I feel amazing every day. This shouldn't be happening. This has never happened. So then that's when we started looking into the science and we're like, oh wow, it's instant cell absorption because it
The
breaks down to
microclusting.
microclustering of the water molecule. It goes into your cells easier. I'm like, oh, that all makes sense because that's how I feel.
Mm,
And another big thing as an athlete, and because I have to drink so much water here between sessions and riding and everything, because to get down 7 liters a day, you've got to be drinking all the time.
mm,
In the past, I'd drink bottled water. It would just sit in my stomach. It'd give me that gross feeling. I could feel it slushing around, not with the Kangen water.
mm,
It just it would just instantly, it must have just soaked instantly into the body, no slushing around in the stomach. And this was huge for me because I didn't want to wait around all day waiting for the water to get into my system so it wasn't slushing around so I could go ride. So they're definitely three of
In an arm pump.
yeah, three of the bigger things. And another one, so there's this thing in motocross, it's called arm pump. When you're riding, you hang on so tight sometimes that your arms just blow up like
Lactic acid
like
buildup.
balloons from lactic acid, and you can't even use your fingers, you can't hang on, really dangerous.
mm.
And at the moment I started with the water, I just never had an arm pump, which was amazing.
That
So
is,
that was something that a lot of athletes suffer with,
mm,
and it just disappeared. And that was a huge advantage because if you get it, like the race is like really difficult to win, let's say. And yeah, so when I looked into the science of that, it is more alkaline, or at least at the perfect alkalinity for your body. And in yeah, after that, you don't produce as much lactic acid as well.
yeah, counteracts the lactic acid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it counteracts it. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few others as well, but that they're the big ones for sure. And they're huge as an athlete. Like
And
they're not just one percenters, they're like that was a big step in the right
Like
direction.
you said,
yeah.
like you looked at everything and then like, oh my God, you missed the water.
No,
Yeah.
that's why I said I couldn't believe that I didn't look into that to start with.
Yeah. And
Mm,
then the other big thing too is Dean, after recovering from his back injury and everything, and especially from retiring from racing, you know, he's had a lot of injuries in his career, right? And so now, what he was noticing was he was not sore, and a lot of people be like, oh, shouldn't you be sore? And he's like, oh no, I feel good. And he's been taking the turmeric supplements that the Ukon that we have that also come from their business. And we've been on them for years. And then a couple of months ago, he said to me, he goes, I think I'm getting BO. And he goes,
no?
like, I don't know, what would you say BO in Swedish?
Smell.
He smelt. He was
Ah,
worried that he smelt, right? And he's like, I'm starting to smell. I think it's the turmeric supplements. Like, I have to get off them. I've tried taking
Well,
away everything else.
yeah.
So he stopped because he was like just doing elimination, right? He was eliminating all these other things. He's like, I don't know why, but I'm training and I'm smelling. So anyway, tried to stop the turmeric, and he's like, we'd wake up and he's like, I'm so sore. I'm so sore. And
what?
then
Yeah.
got back on the turmeric and stopped complaining that he was sore.
Yeah. I couldn't. So now I'm like, well, I can't. It's another thing I can't live without. And I have a friend that does a lot of running, a female,
Mm,
and she said the same thing to me just the other week. So she also has the product. She has the turmeric, and I told her about this some month ago, and she started thinking, oh, you know what? I think that's the case with me. So she tested it, exact same thing. And
that's
when we're talking
amazing.
about running, she's training for 100 kilometer
Run.
run. So I've been out running with her, and we're doing 30 kilometers. Sometimes she does 40 or 45 on her own.
Ultra
Um,
marathon
Yeah.
running.
yeah,
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 ultra marathon runner. And yeah, just started getting sore because she'd stopped taking the supplements.
Mm,
And then she went back on them and not having that. And so they're little things that we noticed. For me personally, I had suffered my entire life with eczema and dermatitis,
mm,
so skin conditions, to the point that I used to be really, really embarrassed when we were kids. Like I used to have it all over my hands. And so I used to use a really strong steroid cream and cotton gloves to bed every night just to so that my hands
mm.
weren't all scratched up. And after we got the shower, the Anespa unit that filters and mineralizes your shower water, all of my skin conditions cleared up.
Wow. That's
I stopped
that's
having to, I don't use any products anymore. I don't use any steroid creams. And my skin, I always show people my hands, and then I realize that they just look normal to you. But for me, it's a big deal because they never looked like this. Um,
actually
my grandma literally bought a product just from seeing my hands.
wow.
She was like, I'm going to look into the science of this thing. And then she was like, wow, this is incredible. So she bought a product just because after seeing my skin, she's like, I can't believe that.
And I think, I had the same thing. I had eczema since I was a young kid. Not like really bad, but rashes here and there. And with the anespa, gone.
Yep.
Nothing. Because I
Yep.
think I think you were just reacting to something in the water. I even heard from a medical doctor in Norway that also uses the water that there's a lot of mold, like a lot of the time in the water. In Norway, where there's supposed to be good water, in Sweden, we're supposed to have such good water.
Yeah.
There
Well,
was,
in Australia, it's the chlorine. They fill our systems with chlorine.
it's like the
Like you can smell it in the
yeah,
showers without an SB. It's
like
terrible.
completely the worst you can do for your skin, like the chlorine, if there's mold or
Yeah.
all these kind of chemicals. It's like not it's a no-brainer to see that, yeah, maybe it affects the skin somehow when it's all this
Yeah.
stuff. Definitely.
Yeah. So
Mm,
between that, like we just, and I also noticed the same thing, just feeling so much better and more energy, and a lot just from being on it and being hydrated too. I used to suffer as well with really bad migraines and headaches all of the time, and I didn't realize I was actually just dehydrated.
yeah.
I was severely dehydrated,
Mm,
and I just never knew it. And then since drinking the water, I was like keeping up with my hydration, and now I just don't get them very, like I'll get them occasionally, but very, very infrequent.
Yeah, there's
Nothing
so
that
many like underlying issues, like so many issues that is just like change your water, like get not just good water, like get the best water that's out there,
affects.
and like
And
just wait and see.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I feel like we could speak for days on the benefits of it. Like I haven't, even just like we did the maths, and even if I never made, like I've literally made like hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years since we've had our machine, but even if you took away all of that and I'd never made a dollar, we still saved money just from owning our machine
mm,
because we looked up at all of the things that we actually replaced from it.
mm,
And we were literally saving thousands of dollars per year on
mm,
things that we weren't having to buy because we had it. Because we used to buy cartons and cartons of bottled water every week. We were buying so many cleaning products that are now replaced, different like yeah, just the list went on of things that we just didn't have to buy anymore since getting our machine.
mm,
Um, and yeah, it just literally was saving us money. And so I think it's really important to know, like, especially for anyone listening, like, we can't make any health claims. Like, what we can share our genuine experience with it, but we can't make that direct health claim, like, this will happen to you. But that's why, for us personally, like, I actually have spare machines. So I've got ours because we'll never part with that or go anywhere without it. It literally has its own suitcase if we ever leave the house. Um, but um, we have a spare machine that we literally just loan to people now so that if anyone's ever like, oh, I've got this or I've got that, I'm like, oh, we'll try the water and see if it works.
mm,
Like, here, you can borrow a machine from us, test it out for yourself. And if you experience the same benefits and you see the value that we do, then you can buy one yourself.
mm,
And I think that's always the best way. So if there's anyone listening and you've maybe got some eczema or you've got something, try one of our machines, try speak to somebody and see if there's a way that you can get your hands on one. Because sometimes I think you don't actually appreciate it. Like if I don't know about you, but I never grew up and was like, I want to grow up and sell water. Like it was never really an exciting thing for me. I didn't think it was something I would get so excited about or even passionate about. I never even used to drink much water. Um, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, people have no idea how good their body is designed to feel.
mm.
And when you feel that, you can't unfeel that.
No, I think at one time was having like some lectures and stuff in the UK, and I was without the water for just a weekend, and it's almost like a battery. You feel like your energy is like, like you your energy. And I was like, I need to get the water. I could feel the brain fog coming back and like, just so tired. And then I found someone with the machine, and I was like going to like the water in the desert, like, oh God, give it to me.
Yeah.
It's legit like
Yeah,
that.
it
And
is.
then just
Yeah.
drinking the water, it's like feeling the battery again, like, I'm back.
And that's the thing, like there's all these, you see the odd comments here and there, or people skeptics on the internet, and they're like, oh, it's just because they sell them. But it's like, actually, no. What I love about Magic is you only get a distributor ID if you are a customer. And I don't know about you, but I can't sell something I don't genuinely believe in.
Mm,
And
mm,
the reason I believe my business has been so successful is because I hand on heart, with or without the business, would have this product. And I genuinely believe it's so helpful for people. And I think
mm.
when you can come with that level of, authenticity and like truth, then it's a no-brainer to share it.
Yeah, it's
And
like
that's
I say to my team sometimes, it's like when you fall in love with something or someone, you don't put baby in the corner, the the old movie. Have you seen that one?
yeah, yeah.
Like you go and you show it and it's like, wow, look at this. Like this is
Yeah,
I'm so proud of this. That's how you
that's
feel
like
after that.
exactly. Just as you were saying that, I was thinking about the people that are like, because occasionally I'll come across people and they're like, yeah, but I'm not a salesman, or I don't want to tell people. It's like, yeah, but have you ever watched a really good movie and then you're in a conversation and somebody's like, oh, I'm looking for a good movie to watch. Would you not tell them about it? Like it actually doesn't feel right. And that's literally what we do. We
Yeah.
get ourselves in situations where people are literally coming to us or talking to us about the same problems that we have solved with this. And
Mm,
all we do is say, this is a solution I found, see if you like it. It's so
exactly. Like
different to when people
they
think
have
sales is.
some Japanese saying like if you have something that can solve other people's problems or like do good for people, like you have to share it. Like why shouldn't you share it? Of course you should. It's like you're obliged to like you have to share it. That's how I feel about it. And then when
Yeah,
you see like change after change after change, not just in one area of your life, like you see it like financially, emotionally, like I mean even your psyche is affected by the water. I've had people with psychological problems, like, boom, gone. And no claims, like you said, we can't promise anything. But when you see these changes over and over, it's not just a like placebo thing or you think something. It's like, yeah, this is like that speaks to me much more than anything. Like seeing it with my own eyes and then seeing it over and over for so many years and then you just become passionate about it, right? Like it comes naturally when you care for
yeah,
other people. So yeah, it's so so beautiful to see you and see your passion, see your love together, and just would like to start to round up with because I always ask for your big vision because I think, like you said, when people are stuck in like the grind, the stress, the just putting out fires, then it's very hard to see or believe that, okay, there is something else here. Like I can actually lift my eyes to the horizon and see something else. I would love to hear where you're going. Like, what's
yeah.
your big vision?
Yeah, so for me, I guess I feel a duty to pass it forward, the gift that I feel like I got when Dean came back into my life as this big shell shock of like showing me that there's this whole life outside of the system and the box that I knew.
Mm,
And so there's a saying that I love, and it says that, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's going to spend its whole life thinking it's stupid. But you put that fish in the water and it realizes it's a genius. And I
mm.
think there are so many people out there that are fish that are stuck up trees. Um, and I think there are so many people that have so much potential inside of them, so much life to live, but they can't see it because they are stuck in this like grind. And I want to be that shining light to families and to, especially to children, to help, bring more families back together. I think the world is becoming so disconnected. People are just sending their kids to school. You've got parents that are just going to work and then they're getting this tiny little snippet at the end of the day. And we're losing so much disconnection. And then on top of that, they're just being funneled in to repeat the same pattern. And I really want to be that light for people that shows that, hey, you don't have, is other ways. You don't have to live like that. And
Mm,
to really give people the confidence and the courage to really live a life by design and not by default. And
mm,
to really just help people unlock and just put them in like environments and rooms where they actually are being asked, what do you want? What
Mm,
is it that's important to you? And so instead of like, the old way of like go find a job, get a job to make money and then work out what you want to do on your weekends, instead, why not ask yourself, what would you love to do? And then let us show you a way to get paid to do that. And
mm,
then let's see what transpires from that. Like I have this, my big vision is to see that if I can pull all these people, all these fish right off all the trees and throw them all in the water, and then all of a sudden they're swimming around and they're finding their genius zone, they're finding their passion, their purpose. I think you just unlock stuff. And I think that's where people's genius zones. And so for me, like some people are going to come into this and they're going to be like me where like I'm going to be doing a magic just forever. Like this is my purpose. This is why I'm here for. Like I love everything about it. Whereas I think for other people it's like they're going to come here and they're going to share it and it's going to create them the financial freedom and it's going to create them the time in their life to actually find what their gift is and then they're going to go and they're going to do great things with that gift. So I
mm,
think for some people it's going to be like this beautiful intermittent like transition period to create that time and space to access their genius zone.
mm,
And
mm.
that's what I really see as like kind of coming in, creating this financial ability, this spaciousness, this freedom in their day to actually ask yourself and stop, what is it? And then to see what they go and do with that.
Mm. And that is huge. And it's so, so important. And I usually say, like, how do you change the world for the better? It's like one family, it's one person at a time, right? For them to be able to live a less stressful life, a more whole life, more present with their kids or whatever they love to do, like the ripple effect of just one family, like changing that, like you have done. I mean, that's huge. And then, like, you being an example, showing other people what's possible, like, that's beautiful.
I think helping them believe in themselves if there's anything, like I think the biggest disservice in this world right now is that there are so many people who have just been taught to believe that they need to rely on somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And I think we can just show people what it's like to just back yourself and to create that mindset of like it's okay to just move forward and to go after what you want unapologetically. That's something
Exactly.
that
And
I
that's actually, the name of the podcast, Sovereign Free Life. Like sovereign is I'm standing on my legs. I'm complete in myself. I don't need to, ask for permission from anywhere to do what I love, to live the way I like to live. So yeah, it's spot on, definitely. And Dean, do you have anything to add there? Like how do you see your path moving forward?
Well, my path, I feel like I said, I got permission at a very young age to follow my dreams, and I got to do that. And I was a big example to a lot of people and kids to go live your dream, you
Mm,
know, work hard, get discipline. You can do whatever you want to do. So in my 18-year to 20-year career, I feel like I was an example. But now that was all really hard work. Um, I'm slowing it down a little bit, spending time with my kids and just supporting my wife to have that same freedom and also for her to blossom to do what she wants to do as well.
oh, that is so sweet. That's so beautiful. And do you see, like, what do you see the new writers coming now? Like, do you think you probably had a big part, like inspiring a lot of new writers. Like, what do you see coming up now? Like,
Yeah, I think when I go back to my international career and when I lived in Europe, I opened up the gates for many Aussies to follow, and which has happened because it was a long time before me that there was another Aussie Australian rider coming to the Grand Prix. So it was really difficult to get in, and once I did, the following came.
mm,
So there was already a bit of influence there, but then when I come back to Australia and I started breaking records here and I made the bar higher and higher and higher and higher. And while I was focused on me, I know that I pulled the whole sport here in Australia skywards.
wow.
So that is where I believe my impact has been. It's more just of an example and raising the bar and showing people you know, you can do it if you try pretty well. Not like I'm not holding their hand, I'm more just showing people. So,
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so, so much for being on. Any last words, anything you'd like to end with before we round up?
well, I just wanted to add, if you are from Sweden listening to this podcast, I am half Swedish myself. My mother,
What?
yeah, is Swedish, so you know, it was nice to get on and do a podcast for you, and yeah, I have some heritage there. I'm always thinking of Sweden. It's in the back of my mind all the time.
Oh,
Would love to take my family there and do some traveling with them as
yeah,
well.
you're always welcome. You can come here and you can race together with the family here. They're all
Yeah, when you were talking about your boy riding, and I'm like, oh, I could come over there and ride with him. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. Lita på svenska.
Ah, vad bra.
Ja.
Ni är välkomna hit. You're welcome. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So
Amazing, guys.
yeah, thank you very much for having us on. This one was special. Renee was excited to tell me. I'm like, hey, you know the Swedish couple? I was like, yeah, I know them. Cool. We'll do a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah,
Amazing.
so we'd love to come over to Sweden sometime and
Yes, of
to see you over
course.
there.
Yeah, you're
And
so welcome anytime, and just let me know. Looking forward to meet you. If it's going to be Australia or Sweden, who knows? But looking forward to see you in the future. And
that'd
thank
be
you
amazing.
so, so much for your time. Thank you for sharing. It was beautiful to just see your energy and your positivity and like how you come so far in different ways and like really created this beautiful time for your family and beautiful life together. That's what I wish for so many people to be inspired by you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being with me.
Okay.
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. See you.